Okay, first things first. So, I got the Marz 2.5 diesel here, all apart. I put in new front bearing, new rear bearing. There's the old front. There's the new front with a seal, much better. I decided to not make you guys watch the painstaking process of me cleaning each and every one of these parts, which was a pain in the ass, by the way. You can see the engine block here looks basically brand new. Yeah, it's all good in there. New bearing. The piston and connecting rod were seized together, so I got those apart. I put a little bit of a chamfer in the oil holes and everything else. Clean the piston, clean the cylinder sleeve over there, everything. All brand new clean. So we're going to assemble this right now using castor oil. This engine was probably one of the hardest ones I had ever taken apart. Okay, we're in frame. Let's get at it. Get the piston, connecting rod, and cylinder all together. Okay. Let's get on with the show here. Okay, so this is just Klotz Benall castor oil. One of my favorites. I'm going to put some there. The connecting rod, we marked it, so we're going to put some here. Put a drop in there. Also, I have the piston marked, because sometimes these things you don't want to put them back together the wrong way around. Otherwise, bad things can happen. So, this is a diesel after all. Don't be shy with the oil. And on this guy, I don't know what I touched that was green, but it's all over my hands now. Some oil on the piston. You can use just regular 2-stroke oil to do this with. That works fine if you don't have castor oil. Let's see. Okay. Actually, everything came out surprisingly well considering how bad this engine was. I'm still guessing that it's been run before, so I'm just gonna grab a little WD-40 to spray any moisture or anything out of that sleeve. Because I did chemical wash absolutely all the parts to get any goop out of them because they were just disgusting. Okay, and then there's a dowel pin in the block right there, so I have to line up the marks. And the strange thing about these engines is there's no piston pin retainers. There's no clips, there's none of those little Teflon pucks or anything. It's very strange. So let's put this guy together. That, make sure everything turns smooth. Oh, seems like there's a lot of compression there, so that's a good sign. Right, moving on. We got our cooling head and screws. Now, I don't like to put any of my screws in dry. I like to give everything a little dab of oil. So this, once again, is just automatic transmission fluid and kerosene mixed together in a 50-50 ratio. So we're going to do that. Drop these guys through here. Oh, come on, don't fight it. Don't fight it. There. And it doesn't hurt. Take a little bit of after run oil and put a little bit on the inside of here, because oftentimes the oil from the exhaust will build up in here and your cylinder head will get stuck to your liner, and it's a pain in the ass to take them apart. Okay. So we're going to drop this guy on. Actually, let's just give those screws a little bit more oil just to be safe. Remember, these are diesel. You can't over oil it. It's fine. So we're going to slip this guy on top. Like I said, these parts were quite difficult to take apart and put back together. Hang on a second here. Yeah, sometimes these parts can be very tough to take apart. and equally as tough to get back together sometimes. The machining processes they used weren't that great back in the day. In whatever part of Russia this engine was made in. This is a Russian-made engine, by the way. I'm guessing made somewhere in the sometime in the early 80s, late 70s. Like I said, I don't really know much about this engine. I have another engine that's the exact same model. That's from 1986. This will be getting an upgrade to Allen cap screws eventually, when I get around to it, but just for now, we're going to get it back together. I'm not going to run it today because it's terrible outside, but I will get it started on video sometime in the near future. Yeah, shitty screwdriver. Shitty flathead screws, I hate them. Alright. Make sure everything's turning free and smooth still. Next, we're going to do the rear intake, or disc intake, drum intake, whatever you want to call it. We have a new gasket. Here's the induction drum and the rear housing. We're going to hit that with some castor oil. Like I said, don't be shy with the oil. You're not going to hurt anything if you over oil it. These engines run with so much oil in the fuel, it's ridiculous. You run these things with 30% oil all the time. That's what it calls for in the manual. So, which I had a friend of mine translate into English for me, because I can't understand Russian or very little of it. Now comes the task of lining everything up. It's kind of a pain in the ass because you have to line up this slot with the pin in the back of the crankshaft. You have to get them lined up just right, otherwise they will not go together. Oh, there it goes. Okay. It's such a tiny, small screwdriver, but unfortunately I can't find my other one at the moment, so we're gonna work with what we got. Okay, oil. And we did it on time. We got 8 minutes so far, so it looks like we're going to be doing good here. Then in a couple minutes, I will put on the prop driver plate and go grab the prop, which I forgot to grab earlier, and do a flip test to see how the compression feels with a prop on it. Just a side note with these diesel engines, unlike a glow engine, you have to be very careful because these don't take much more than a flip to start. In other words, the ignition is always on. So if you've taken one of these apart and you've cleaned it and you've used a solvent like kerosene or WD-40 and you're sitting there flipping it over by hand after you've cleaned it, be very careful because it could start in your hand. Remember, a diesel uses only compression to light its fuel. No spark plugs, no glow plugs. So, yeah, beware because it can hurt you badly or scare the shit out of you. I've had that happen before when I've started or been sitting there flipping the prop and it started up in my hand and it scared the daylights out of me. Okay, hopefully we have enough time to try to go keep it on a certain time, otherwise ScrewTube won't let me upload it and I don't want to do this all over again. Let's try to be quick. Call it prop driver, spinner, and prop. This is an 8x4, I think. I'm not exactly sure what size it is. Okay. Oh yeah. Hear that nice pop? That's a healthy sign. This is going to be a good engine. Well, there you have it, guys. The Marz diesel is going to live. I'm going to shut this video off before I freaking overdo it and can't upload it. Anyways, take it easy, guys.